Hello little friends, welcome back to our channel, Wisdom for Kids. I'm so glad you're joining me again today. Last time, we saw how the flood covered the whole earth. Rain fell for 40 days and nights, and everything was underwater. But inside the ark, Noah, his family, and all the animals were safe because God was with them. Today, the storm is over, the sun will shine again, and God is going to make a special promise, one that He has kept forever. Today's story is called God's Promise and the Rainbow from Genesis chapters 8 and 9. Let's go! Episode 8, God's Promise and the Rainbow, Genesis chapters 8-9, verses 1-17. The rain had stopped. The sky was quiet, but the earth was still covered in water. Genesis 8:1 says, "But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were with him in the ark." That doesn't mean God had forgotten. It means that now it was time for the next part of His plan. God sent a wind to blow across the earth. Slowly, the water began to go down. The deep springs under the earth stopped flowing. The sky closed up, and little by little, the world began to dry out. Genesis 8:2-3. After 150 days, the ark came to rest on top of a mountain called Ararat. Genesis 8:4. But the world still had lots of water, so Noah and his family stayed inside the ark. They waited. After 40 more days, Noah opened a window in the ark and sent out a raven. Genesis 8:6-7. The raven flew back and forth but didn't bring any news. So Noah sent out a dove. But the dove couldn't find a dry place to rest, so it came back. Genesis 8:8-9. Noah waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again. This time, it came back with something special, a fresh olive leaf. Genesis 8:10-11. That meant trees were growing again. The earth was drying. 1 more week passed, and Noah sent the dove again. This time, the dove did not return. Genesis 8:12. It had found a home. It was almost time. Then God spoke to Noah and said, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature so they can spread out over the earth and be fruitful and increase in number." Genesis 8:15-17. Noah opened the door. Fresh air rushed in. The animals came out 2 by 2, just as they had gone in. Lions roared. Birds flew into the sky. Deer bounded across the hills. The earth was alive again. And the very first thing Noah did, he built an altar. He gave an offering to God. He thanked God for keeping them safe. Genesis 8:20. And God was pleased. God said in His heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done." Genesis 8:21. God made a promise, a covenant with Noah, his family, and every living creature. In Genesis 9:11, God said, "Never again will there be a flood to destroy the earth." And to show His promise, God placed something beautiful in the sky, a rainbow. God said, "I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Genesis 9:13. Every time we see a rainbow, we can remember that promise. God said, "Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all living creatures." Genesis 9:16. The rainbow is more than just something pretty. It's a reminder that God keeps His word. He is faithful. He never forgets, and He always does what He said. The rainbow was God's way of saying, "I love you. I will not destroy the earth with a flood again, and I want you to trust me." Today, we learned that after the storm, God made a promise. He told Noah that he would never again destroy the earth with a flood, and He gave us the rainbow as a sign of that promise. Sometimes we go through storms too, not rainstorms, but hard times when we feel afraid, sad, or confused. But just like Noah, we can trust that the storm will not last forever. God remembers us, God rescues us, and God gives us hope. So the next time you see a rainbow, stop and think, God is faithful, God keeps His promises, and His love is forever. See you next time, friends. In our next episode, people will begin to spread across the earth, but they won't all follow God's plan. They'll try to build something tall and powerful, a tower that reaches to the sky. What will God do? Find out next time in the story of the Tower of Babel. Good night and sleep tight.